This episode of Building You is brought to you by Promo Corner. Want to support a sales campaign and reach a larger audience? Raise your brand awareness with content sponsorships. For more information, reach out to sales@promocorner.com.
Hey everybody, I'm so excited to be here with you today. I have to just start today's video with a little honesty and say that today's video is going to expose some vulnerability because this topic came to me because over the last month, we do this show once a month, the third Tuesday of every month. And I saw something on social media, which we're going to talk about, and I felt a little insecure about it. And I have a great life. My life is awesome. I'm married to an awesome man. I have healthy children. I'm, able to move every single day. I have wonderful pets. Everything's great. But I found myself feeling insecure. But when I thought, oh, this is a great subject to talk about, when I started to research insecurity a little bit more, I realized that although I may have some insecurities, I was really jealous. And jealousy is so ugly. It's one of those things that I hate to admit it, but it happens. So today we're going to talk about the difference between insecurity and jealousy and how to understand those differences and what we can do about it. So if you're not familiar with me, my name is Kat. Like I said, we have this program every month, the third Tuesdays of every month at your lunchtime break. You can go back and look at the other videos. You can join us going forward. Okay, insecurity I want to talk about. Insecurity is something that most of us feel at some point, right? There's got to be some time in your life that you've been a little insecure about something. However, sometimes there are people that feel it a lot of the time. So I'm not a psychologist. If some of these feelings or experiences are things that you experience on a regular basis, it's worth talking to a professional because they can help you to overcome these insecurities. But I want to tell you what insecurity comes from. Insecurity is actually something that's an internal feeling. And it's something that has happened from your childhood, whether it be past traumas, maybe you have a parent or even a partner that is very negative towards you. These are things that you develop inside of your body. It could be experiences of failure and even rejection. And all of these things contribute to future insecurities. So for example, if something happens in your life or if you see something on social media and it triggers these past experiences that have kind of whittled their way down deeply into your psychology, it's going to bring up those feelings of insecurity. So this is a legitimate thing. It is something that we absolutely can overcome if we become aware of it, and then we choose to do something about it. So I want to talk to you about the two kind of most common forms of insecurity that people can experience. The first one is insecurity based on recent failure or rejection. Unfortunately, this happens in life. We have failures and we have rejections, right? And research shows that 40% of our happiness quotient, like if we think I'm 100% happy, 40% of that is actually based on the most recent thing that's happened in your life. Now, this is not a real example, but a little bit of an example. If you golf and you play awesome on the front nine and you're feeling really good, you're super happy, right? But then if you play really poorly on the back nine, you're going to be left with that feeling of a kind of, failure because you didn't do well, but you did really well on the first nine. So you're feeling good. And then the second nine, you didn't. So that's what sticks with you. So if we think also about breakups or job loss or things that we're not getting in our lives that we want to have, there are a couple of kind of tools that we can use or a couple of mental directions in which we can help ourselves to overcome those feelings. The first one, if we lose a job or if we find that our life is going in a different direction in which it's currently been going, COVID is an awesome example. This is something that's present in our life. It's now, we've all experienced it, but it is kind of a loss, right? We've had a loss of what we've been used to, the norm. The one thing that you can do is actually just stop for a beat, give yourself the opportunity to just adapt to the new normal. And a lot of times we think that everything has to stay the same. We're creatures of habit, right? We're used to it, we're familiar with it, and we want it to stay the same. But in every aspect of our life, if we grow in any way, there's change. So think of any change as being a positive change, even though it might feel negative at first. Generally, it's going to lead you to a better place. Take a moment and allow yourself to recognize and adapt to the new normal. If you're familiar with Mosa Method Consulting, which is my company, or just my videos in general, we talk a lot about emotional intelligence, which is EQ. And EQ has 27 keys to it. And one of those keys is adaptability. So if you can start to kind of master that, you're going to be further on your way to developing yourself into some self-mastery. Another thing that you can do is to be willing to try a different strategy. Maybe we didn't get the promotion that we were hoping for, but what we're doing isn't working. So be willing to try something new. Take advice from other people and allow yourself to veer off your course and to grow in a different direction. Okay, the second kind of top thing of insecurity comes from people that are perfectionists. There are people in life that have very high standards for themselves. They expect to be have the highest grades if they're in school. They want to have the best job and get promoted over and over again. They expect to live in the best house. They want to have beautiful decorating. Maybe they want a perfect body. These are things that are in our mind of what is perfect. What constitutes as a perfect life, as a perfect person, are these things that we decide in our head, right? So unfortunately, life always doesn't give us everything perfect. Listen, I have naturally curly hair. If I feel like I'm a perfectionist and everything is perfect and straight, smooth, silky hair is the epitome of a perfect look, it ain't going to happen. So we have to realize that some of our goals are going to be our responsibility, but sometimes to some degree, it's completely out of our control. So you could have a critical boss. Maybe you're reaching for that next job rank, but your boss is like a real, I don't want to say the word, but a real meanie. And they just don't want you to grow. They're not a great boss. Maybe your partner resists commitment. Maybe genetically, you just don't have what it takes to be that supermodel body shape, right? So one of the things that we have to remember is that if we're constantly trying to reach this level of perfectionism that is not within our control, what it can do is it's going to leave us feeling more insecure and unworthy, right? And if we keep beating ourselves up about it, what it can do is add to depression, give us anxiety, give us an eating order, and even give us chronic fatigue because you're constantly trying to fix something that is out of your control. So what do we do for that? Well, the first thing, going back to EQ, is having control over ourselves, right? We can't control anything that's happening outside of us, but what we can control is ourselves. So the first thing you want to do is evaluate yourself based on the effort that you put in and not necessarily the end results to things, because we can control what we put into something. We can't always control the outcome. So the next thing that we want to remember is that the things that we put in, that those effort, the daily effort, is a numbers game, right? We do enough of the same thing. It's like mileage. We become better at it. They say it takes 10,000 times of doing something to become an expert. So if you're not putting that kind of mileage or that time into something, then you shouldn't be expecting something to be perfect anyhow. Perfectionism is also very much based on the all or nothing mentality. Now, I have fallen victim to that myself, even when it comes to, say, dieting. Like, I'll get up and I might have a bad breakfast and I just kind of throw in the towel. But that's not how it works, right? That could be a mistake and we move on. Try to see the gray area in everything that you do. Another great piece of advice for those of you that are perfectionists is to try to take out of every situation the question of, what did you experience? What did you achieve? And what did you learn? So if you can realize that you're getting something out of every experience that you have, even if it didn't end up exactly the way that you hoped or expected it to, it's still a win. We're all going to fall in life, right? Failure it's part of life. It's part of growth. But the expression fall forward is when we learn from those experiences, and then we can be better the next time around. And then the last one is perfectionists tend to have a conditional self-esteem. And what that means is that when things are going well, we feel awesome. But if just a couple of things go wrong, we feel horrible. And it's kind of still, again, that idea of that all or nothing mentality. So recognize that you're focusing, or you should be focusing, on your inner qualities, on your values, on the things that make you up as a person, as opposed to just this one thing going right or this one thing going wrong. Okay, so that's basically a couple of ideas of how we have insecurity. And the thing with insecurity too, because it's something that was kind of instilled in us in our childhood, is that it's harder to get over that. Bruce Lipton is a great guy to listen to, and his theory is that until the age of 7, we are programmed by everything that's going on around us, which makes sense because you can't learn everything, the language, the mannerisms, life's rules, by somebody telling them to you. You are in the middle of it. So nature versus nurture comes into play here. So if you are programmed a certain way up until the age of 7, and you don't even realize until adulthood that maybe you were programmed incorrectly or in a negative way, it's going to take time to get over that. That's why I say it's great to work with somebody. And if you have these personal judgments, like, it's kind of like, well, I don't deserve to be happy, or, people don't love me. That's a mentality that's given to you that you've brought into adulthood. So we want to nip that in the bud, and we want to recognize our self-worth. Remember, you are 1 in 400 trillion people. It took so many of the perfect situations for you to be born into this world that you are special. You're awesome. So get rid of those limiting beliefs and trust that you are worth everything. So we're going to get rid of those insecurities, which brings me to jealousy. So at first, I thought I had some insecurities. Listen, it's been COVID. I have the COVID-20 kicking right now. I'm not feeling really well. I'm really good about myself right now. I have some insecurities, and my insecurities are legit. I was bullied as a child. It's ingrained in me. I feel like I'm, at times the ugly kind of little duckling comes back. And these are things that I deal with personally. But what happens is that jealousy is created by external events. So insecurities are internal feelings that we bring from our childhood. Jealousy is created by external things that are happening around us. They are related, but we are developing those circumstances. So what I want to do is just share that if we have some insecurities, our chances of being jealous are a little bit higher, but we have to pay attention to this because, like I said earlier, jealousy is ugly. It makes people just a horrible, horrible look to them. So what I want to do is talk now about how we overcome our jealousy. Have you ever noticed that when we don't like a person, it's actually because deep down we're a little bit jealous of them? We become jealous of the things we don't have. Now, if you have an ex, boyfriend or girlfriend, and they get a new significant other, don't you hate that person? Haven't you in the past? Well, do you really hate them? Or are you jealous because they're actually in a position that you had wished that you were still in, right? We are jealous of the things that we don't have. I know that I've seen parents with crazy kids and be able to handle those situations with poise and dignity and just incredible emotional grace, right? I don't hate them. I'm jealous of them because they're able to control their emotional intelligence. I've seen situations where somebody has incredible confidence. They can be on the beach and they might even be a large person and they are rocking a bikini. And I am so jealous, not of the bikini, not of their strut, but because of their self-confidence. We are jealous of the things that we don't have. So it's okay to wrestle with inadequacies because we all have them, right? Listen, even the people that you think are the people that have it all together, have all the confidence, have everything they could possibly want, I promise you, they have moments of insecurities or jealousies about what somebody else has. Everything in life is relative. So it's okay to realize that you slip into that dark side once in a while. And we are kind of have a little pity party about the inadequacies that we have. What is not okay is to live there. Do not set up camp, pitch a tent, put out the grill and think, I'm going to live in this place where I am jealous of other people, because all that does is push you further and further down a dark hole. What you have to remember is that you don't need to be threatened by others because there's no competition, right? Listen, when we're jealous of other people, they're not even thinking about us. We think it's this big competition of, well, they have, but I don't have, or they look great and I don't look great, or they have the $1 million home and I don't have that home. They're not looking at us and worrying about it. So the competition is not there. It's all in your head. So there's no reason to be jealous of other people. And the question is, what are you jealous about? And this, my friends, is where it all comes to pass. It's all about accountability. Now, like I said, insecurities are legit. They start in our childhood. So if you suffer from true insecurities, you want to talk to somebody and help yourself overcome them. But if you are jealous of other people, the question is, what are you jealous about? And what are you going to do about it? If you are jealous that somebody is more successful than you are you out there busting your butt every single day? Are you getting up early? Are you grinding? Are you making it happen? Giving it truly 100%? If you're not, you have nothing to complain about. Listen, I know I have to lose 20 pounds and I might be jealous if somebody's in shape, but guess what? I can stop eating cake. I can get out and exercise. If you're not doing absolutely everything there is to do to reach whatever that goal is that you're after, you have nothing to complain about. We absolutely have to decide what's important to us. And I can promise you this, if it's important enough, you'll do it. You can't say, I don't have enough time in a day, because if it's important enough, you'll find the time. You can't say, I can't afford it, because if it's important enough, you're going to find the money. So think about in your life when there's been times that, oh, I am so broke. I just absolutely have no money. But then you see something that you really want. Guess what? It's there. It's there. It's always there. The time is there. The effort is there. The money is there. You can make anything happen in your life if you put the effort to it. So, my friends, this video is about stop being jealous and start doing something about reaching the goals that you have for yourself so that you can just feel good about it. Insecurity, legit. Jealousy, get over it. It's from external circumstances that we are allowing ourselves to fall into that dark hole. It's not worth it. It's always better if we can do something because we're going to feel better about it. So I want to just do a quick review. If you have insecurities, if you're having failures in your life, be willing to try things differently, right? There's a book called The Slight Edge, and The Slight Edge is about those daily behaviors. Try very much to focus not on end goals, but on doing something every day that's going to bring you towards your goal. Work on what you can control, which is the activities, and focus on your effort more than the results. Because if you are putting the effort in, you're going to get there, at least a lot closer. Perfectionism, focus on the gray areas. Don't think all or nothing, because we don't have control over that. And also, what did you learn from an experience, or what did you achieve other than the end result, but you got something out of it? Pay attention to why you have negative feelings. And if there's something you don't have that you want, make an effort to set those daily behaviors to put you on the path to get to where you want to be. Don't live in your inadequacies. Remember, don't set up camp. You want to move out as quickly as possible. It's okay to feel certain ways. We all do. Feel it, acknowledge it, and then come up with a strategy to get past it so that you can be there and maybe people will be jealous of you. So do something about what you don't like and stop your complaining. I want to leave you with the idea of motivation. A lot of people say, well, I need motivation to do something. And generally when we want something, the motivation creates itself. However, then that fades away, right? We're kind of sitting there and we're no longer motivated. We still want it, but the motivation isn't there. The trick is to recognize the fact that action actually creates motivation. And what I mean by that is, I don't want to work out. I don't want to diet, right? I'm not motivated to do that. However, if I start doing something every single day, once I start to see the results, my motivation gets totally fired up. So the activity, the action creates the motivation because it's going to bring me to my goal. And then of course, when you start to see what you're after, you actually will create motivation. So that's all I have for you guys today. Insecurities can lead to jealousy that has to absolutely lead to accountability for us to get out there and do something about it.